Getting dimensions in building information modeling software is an axiomatic feature, but in Navisworks, this function is probably the most improved function in a long time. You can use measuring tools to make linear, angular, and area measurements and to automatically measure the shortest distance between two selected objects. By using the measure command, we are going to take 6 different kinds of measurements. The first thing I'd like to do is check out some of my display units. I'm going to this green N application button and I'm going to hit options. I'm going to expand my interface tab and I'm going to go to the display units. I want to keep my display linear units at meters. For my decimal places, I'm going to go 1 decimal. Now I'm going to go to measure. For measurement color, I can select the color I would like for my measurements. And I'm going to deselect show XYZ differences and I'm going to hit OK. With the orbit command in use, let's zoom in on this roof area. In the Review tab, let's click the Measure drop-down and let's go point to point. Notice that our cursor turns into a crosshair. If we hover over a horizontal surface, we'll see that a square will append to that horizontal surface. If we go to a vertical surface, the same thing will happen. Even an oblique angle, the Navisworks will append itself to that angle as well. So let's take a distance. Notice that when we come to an endpoint, Navisworks will snap to it. Let's go from this endpoint to this endpoint, 8.1 meters. If we want to get rid of this, just hit clear. Now let's look at some more measured options. Click the measure drop down. Let's go point to multiple points. What happens here is we can keep taking measurements of the initial points we select. For example, if we select this point right here, and we take a distance from here to here, Navisworks will give us that distance. When we move our cursor now, we'll see that the first point is appended to where we selected. So I'm going to click up here, find an endpoint. Let's click the measure drop down again. Let's go to point line. This is the same type of measure command that Navisworks will move the focus to the second point we select and so on. For example, click this point here, click this point here. Now we move the focus on the second point, not the first point. Let's do another type of measure command. Click the measure drop down. Let's go accumulate. So select a point here and select a point here. We have 8.1 meters. If we select a point here, then select a point here, we have 16.2 meters. What happens is Navisworks is adding up those increments. So as we keep selecting points, we can actually set an accumulative value. Let's click the measure drop down again. Let's go to angle. Use the same points. Let's select this point here to this point here. Now let's go down to this point. You notice that we have our angle. Let's do another one. Let's click the measure drop down. Let's go to area. Let's select a point here. Let's select a point here. Now let's select a point right here. Navisworks will give us the area of that little roof. Now, what if I want to find where the shortest distance between two objects? By using the shortest distance command, we're going to see exactly where the closest point is between the objects selected. What I'd like to do is I'm going to zoom in on this area up here where I have got a bunch of mechanical equipment. I'd like to know what is the distance between these two ducts. So to do that, I need to be in selection mode. If you go to Home panel and click on Select, notice that your cursor turns to an arrow. I'm going to select one duct, hold down my Control key and select another. In the Review tab, click on the Shortest Distance button. Navisworks will show the shortest distance between these two ducts. So I can clearly see my dimensions, 3.1 meters. So in conclusion, it's so nice to be able to take your accurate dimensions wherever you need it. Just remember, make sure the dimension you take is going from and to the points you expected. Let's learn how it's useful to create grid line and comments. It's time for adding grid lines. Grid lines enable you to mark up viewpoints. They are a group of 4 different functions that I'll start with creating a viewpoint. Now the first thing I want to do is zoom in on this entrance area here. Go to your Viewpoint tab and click on Save Viewpoint. Let's call it Entrance Markup and just hit Enter. Next, let's go to our Review tab. Let's go down the red line panel, starting from left to right. First thing we'll do is click on the text button. Put your pencil anywhere on the roof and select a spot. For the red line text, let's type in check roof height and hit Enter. Now for the color, let's set the drop down and change it. Let's go to green. Your color may have started on something different than mine. Just change your color to anything you'd like to see. Next thing I'd like to do is click on Draw. Let's draw a cloud. Let's draw a different colored cloud around this piece of text. I'm going to click on here, then here, then here, then keep going around in a circle until I have this closed in. Navisworks will not snap to the other endpoint, but you can just eyeball it. Now, click the Draw drop-down. Let's draw a line. I'm going to draw a line from here to here, and from here to here. Since those lines don't make any sense, I'm going to click on my Erase button. I'm just going to draw a window around these 2 lines. The next thing I'd like to do is add a tag. Tags are associated with comments. Let's do one of 2 things. First, let's click on View Comments. Notice that there is no comments. Let's close out of View Comments. Let's click on Add Tag. I'm going to select a point right about here. We can associate tag number 1 with a comment. Let's type in door material. Let's keep the status as new and let's click OK. Now when we click on View Comments, we'll see that we have a comment. Let's right click in the comments field and let's add a comment. Door hardware. Then click OK. We now have 2 comments. Let's click on door material. Let's right click on it. Let's edit the comment. Let's change our status to approved. And let's click OK. Now we have a viewpoint that has comments, text, lines and shape, and it has tags on it.